time to make or break. Move on, don't hesitate. Break out, don't stop to ask. Now you found a break to make it last. Got to find a way, say what you want to say. Break out.
Swing Out Sister. That's Breakout right here on Dan Radio Style. That song, I was 13 years old when that song came out, and I loved it. I had the record. Spun that baby up all the time. Played some solitaire. My bird dancing with me. Good times. Judgment and Disbelief. What the heck, man? What am I talking about? I know a lot of people say you should be skeptical. You should be leery. Shouldn't believe everything you hear, say, or read. And I actually agree with that, by the way. You shouldn't agree with everything you hear, say, or read. Doesn't matter who's telling it to you. The way I always look at advice is look to see who's giving it to you. And if it's someone that can demonstrate what they're talking about, which I hope I kind of can, then that's something to listen to. If it's someone that's talking about something but they've never been able to demonstrate it, I'm usually leery. That's just me. I know there's some people that maybe weren't great baseball players, couldn't bat per se, but are really technically good when it comes to teaching you how to bat. So that's one example where my thing breaks down. I get it. There's exceptions to that rule. But when we're going to generalities, it's a good way to look at it. If they're demonstrating it, do it. So a lot of us, we have judgments. We have disbeliefs. There's certain things that we don't think we can actually do. And I've caught myself doing this before. So I know it's possible, especially if we're being honest with ourselves. And here's how you kind of find it. Here's the trick to identifying when you've got one of these moments. We'll use the specific person as an example since that's kind of a popular one, right? When I go, yes, I can imagine that we're going to be together. We're so, like, it's coming together. I can see it happening. We're totally doing it. And then there's that in the back of your mind, that fear thing, but you're not really, that thing that's like, but you're not able to, that thing that kind of you feel it push away from you. You feel it like, it's the thing that says, but you're not good, but you're not making enough money, but you're not at the place where you need, but you're not like a sprinkler. But the part that's like, but I've got butts. That's the part of us that's helping you see where your issue lies. A lot of people get frustrated when these thoughts come up. Oh no, I thought something horrible, or I went down this negative path, or this butt popped up in the middle of my butt. That's horrible. How do I fix that? Whoa, holding. Red card, right? Hang on a second. That's actually how you identify where your blockages are. The thing that pops up is where your fear is the thing that all you got to do is look at it. Now, I will say, this doesn't work for everybody, the thing I'm about to say. But it works for me. And hopefully, we'll see. We'll see how you feel about it, right? But my whole thing is I look at what it is that scares me, and I go, all right, if that's the worst that happens, right? This thing that I'm scared of, like going on stage for the stand-up thing, or asking someone out, or, are they going to say no? Or what if they don't laugh at me? Or whatever. If that's the worst thing that happens, seriously, for the stand-up, for a lot of you guys, because that's petrifying to many people, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. Totally get it. When you walk up at the stage, worst thing that happened, at least in my case, right? There could have been, 65 people. It wasn't that big an audience. 65 people. I could have basically just said, yeah, I just took away 12 minutes of your life that you're never getting back. I think it was about 14 and a half, actually. And the thing I shared is about 8 or 9. It's around there. I cut out some crap. But again, that's the worst thing that could have happened. They could have not have laughed. I could have been like, oh, that was horrible. Maybe I just don't become a comic, right? Like, that's the worst scenario. But surviving standing on stage for 15 minutes and not being funny, which is terrifying unto itself, don't get me wrong. It's 15 minutes. It will be over. It will happen. So sometimes looking at that thing that scares us the most, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it because they might say no. Or I don't want to do it because I may not get the job. Or I don't want to know whatever. So in the case if I won't get the job, well, now your boss all of a sudden knows you're interested. You might have started wheels turning. In the sense of asking the person, the same kind of concept occurs. So what? They may say no. They might. They might actually say no on the first go. But now you've implanted the seed. A lot of people don't get the power of action. They're like, oh, I don't want to be wrong. And first off, text messages aren't necessarily action as much. I mean, they can be, but it's more like that in person, that opportunity to see each other. They walk into the same room. Maybe you work together and you say something funny. Like there's certain things that can just grab somebody. Text messages are tough. Emails are tough because you don't get that context. You don't hear the tone. You don't hear the at the end, right? Oh, that was a question. Oh, because you didn't put any punctuation in the text message. I had no idea you were asking me a question. But when I heard you say it, you went up at the end. And that's a standard kind of international sign of question. We go blah, 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 at the end, right? So a lot of us have these disbeliefs, these questions, these things. We don't believe it. We don't think we can do it. We don't believe miracles can happen. We don't believe something out of the blue can happen. We don't believe that, yeah, I only need to meet one person, as I've said before. And it's a tough one to sell on people, but for me, it's like backwards. I'm like, all I got to do is meet one person. It's not like I got to try to meet 15 different people to get them to all agree to my little dream here. I just need to meet one person that can introduce me to the right people, and I'm in like Flynn. And I've met all sorts of crazy people in my life, so I know meeting somebody is not difficult. I can randomly bump into anybody anywhere, except working at home. That does complicate that a little bit. They weren't going to walk into my office at my other job either, right? So it's still going to be out and about, right? It's still going to be at the grocery store, wherever the heck I end up, or something for some, meeting. They're like, hey, meet us over at this thing. We got this gathering, right? And you're like, I don't really want to, but whatever. I'll go hang out with you people. And then you show up and you end up meeting someone for something else. That's type of stuff has happened all the time. Open up. But the question is disbelief. Do you think that's possible? So every time you try to imagine getting this perfect manifestation that you're going after, do you go, I don't think it's possible? Or, do you start to question it? Listen to that voice. Listen to what's going on inside of you. It's not bad. Yes, you may not be manifesting it. Yes, I know. And that's all you want right now. I know. And we're going to get you there. But it's paying attention to the jacked up stuff that happens along the way. That is where the magic is at. Personally, that's my favorite part because that's where you evolve. And when you look at these things and go, oh man, I did not see that. And you deal with it, literally, the second you look at it, if you go, yeah, I don't want that to be there anymore. I know how to fix this. I am getting jealous, or I am being insecure, or I'm being needy, or and it'll hit you. A lot of times for me, I'll feel myself blush. I'll feel heat. I'll almost start sweating even. If it's really bad, oh my God, beads of sweat will start forming on my friggin' forehead. I'm like, oh man, this is horrible. I blew it. And you know what? I've always survived from mistakes. As long as you don't keep making the same mistake. You keep making the same mistake, yeah, you deserve it. Whatever wrath of crazy comes down on you because you've made the same mistake 47 times. Yeah, you aren't figuring it out. You need a big smack on the face, something, right? But otherwise, for the majority of us, we make these little mistakes, we learn and we grow. That's evolution. It's awesome. It's part of this whole thing. Stuff happens along the way. So where are you with your belief, your disbelief, your judgment, your non-judgment? Is it sluggish because you keep thinking to yourself, how can this happen? I don't see how this can happen. I don't believe this can happen. You might phrase it differently, but look at what you're thinking. Look at what you're believing. Do you believe it's possible? Do you believe this can happen somehow? Somehow there's magic that can happen. Like I said, meeting one random person, a lot of people be like, that's insane. And I don't know how to make it sound as easy as it really is. Meeting one person's easy. Meeting 15 people at the same time, that takes getting schedules together. Challenge for sure. I just recently was trying to set up a meeting for today and it mattered for work. I needed 3 people to show up. And then there was 3 others that actually mattered that needed to be there. And they were on my side, though, so we're all invested in the same thing. The 3 people didn't show up. They all accepted. They didn't show up. I'm like, reschedule. Right? It is what it is. Sometimes that's just how it plays out. Again, we live to play another day, as they sometimes say. So, do you believe in this is possible? That's a big question that you need to ask yourself. And many of us, especially those of us that are struggling, that answer's probably a lot more yes than you want to admit. So if you're having struggles, if you're having a hard time, if it's taking a while, if it's just whatever, I don't know, that's your judgment, not mine, right? Like, I've been on this for a while too. This whole love path thing is awesome. It's an experience. It's wonderful. Wouldn't trade it for the world. It's worked out beautifully and perfectly. But some of us don't necessarily see things that way. So if it feels like it's taking a long time, start to look inward. Start to look at what's going on. Do I believe this is possible? Do I believe I can do this? Do I believe there's a way? And if not, well, okay, that's good. Now it's an issue. We start to look at that and go, well, there is a way. There is a possibility. You can do this. That's the whole point of the imaginal. It's the whole point of manifesting. But it's when you realize that you're stopping yourself because you say, oh, no, I don't. Now you realize, oh, yes, I can. I can do this. God, crazy Dan just thinks he can meet one crazy random person and, hell, I get this. They can start liking me, or they can forgive me for that mistake I made, or they can bump into me at this place that we go to frequently each other every day. Like, the odds of bumping into each other at the same time are really great. It can totally happen. It can totally happen. Whatever you're doubting, it can happen. It will happen if you keep working at it and believe it can happen. It's that simple. It really is. It's intention. What's your intention? Universe is going to line up the dots for you. It really wants you to. It really wants you to. Intention. Put it out there. Don't worry about the hows. Don't worry about whether it's possible. Well, I mean, you need to get behind it. You need to be able to live with it. But again, that's one of the things you got to pay attention to. Hopefully we're making a difference in the big picture. We'll see how it all plays out. Going out with a great song. I always like to say her name this way, and I can't help it. It's just the way I am. But her name's Rachel Platt. And Rachel Platt's awesome. Platt. And fight song. It's a great song. Put your mood on. Put your fight on. Get your game on. It's right here. Stay on radio style.